collision. But this thing has child objects that it makes that it then figures things out. I mean, basically what we want to do is we want to set these collision presets. If there's no channel or something like that, we want to set it to nothing. So it's in like create child physics components for us, and so the body setup is going to be null pointer to start with, and then we call flip change physics state. And we are set collision object type. So it's world dynamic by default for what we have. We should probably just default to nothing. So we can't actually set it to nothing. So the question is there some other piece of information that we can get from our object so that we can basically set on these components? Because we should be able to say, I think like comp. No, go away, Cortana. Set collision enabled, and we should be able to set like E collision enabled. No collision. And I could basically set that by default, probably. I mean, sure, why not? What could possibly go wrong? And I think that's maybe paper physics component. That's CPP. Yeah, we're actually calling set collision enabled right here. It may be that this set that we have, because we added that set a while ago, maybe that's overwriting things that we shouldn't be overwriting. So let's check on that. Because I would assume that it might not actually like it would default to whatever, like it would look for like a parent collision object and then take that default from the parent if you didn't set anything. But I might be wrong. So what happens when you start messing with systems that expect totally different, you have totally different purposes for your system. You're like, well, this flipbook is for characters that obviously have all sorts of collision. You're like, well, this flipbook is for explosions, which have no collision, or have separate collision systems on them. Well, yeah, looks like no, that doesn't do anything for us. So what would you say if you haven't actually specified what object type this thing should be, it's going to set itself to not having any collision? You'll probably use a separate thing regardless for other sorts of things. So let's see. Flipbook. So this guy has got no collision set on him. So let's take a look. So our collision's still working here. And now we're not colliding. So we collide with the other fat sacks. Let's free that fat sack real quick. Yeah, so we're still colliding with him. Put him back in his prison. Alright, so... is this added? Okay, so we have the ability to have flipbooks, have all that sort of stuff, no problem. Cool. Well... what if we say collision is block everything on this guy? I can compile it. It's still got no collision, so we should just not collide. Yeah, good. Because we have no geometry body on this guy. That's good. Thank you, Talon 2002 for following. We're working on setting up some effects stuff right now and pretty much just debugging our blueprint code. Basically what we're doing is we're setting up the kind of an effects root object which we can then like drag stuff into, like drag textures into and all that sort of stuff. And then kind of compose our effect And then have it work, right? That's the idea. And it looks like it is actually starting to work. What, the game looks more cheerful? Or something like that. Yeah, so okay, I do want an actual example effect here that looks not awful. So I'm gonna see if I can grab one real quick. Like, I do have them somewhere. Yours is a horror game? Yeah, this is not this is not a horror game. We're pretty early on right now. I can kind of show you. Right now we're just trying to get to our prototype, which it's a platforming game, and this is just like my test level. I'm the engineer on the project, so I'm not making the art. But Adam, the artist and designer, has been working on kind of a visual target level, and this is real rough of what we're kind of working on right now. And kind of the visual target is close to kind of what we've got here. This is all placeholder assets, and we're just, you know, it's obvious stuff's all sorts of messed up, like, you know, the textures here are all clipped and all this other stuff. But yeah, flying trees. Yeah, the idea is, you know, once this is all cleaned up and nice, you know, we'll be running along all these cool levels and all this stuff. And this is just all hacked together. It's hilarious. Like, all these little pieces are just like trash that he's thrown around the level. To just kind of, you know, we don't have a way to construct the level super nicely yet with all the like standardized pieces. So it's just all like stuff chunked together. It's pretty awesome. So, you know, it's all totally fake. But that's kind of what we're getting for our basic, you know, beautiful corner sort of thing. In the test level, there's a flying tree. Oh yeah, the camera test here, like everything's totally flying. Like, I've got these stumps and all this other crap up here. I was using it when I was messing around with the camera, and kind of the test was if I could land on these things, then the camera was getting better, not worse. So things like that. So okay, so we got it so we can make entities, we got it so we can create the blueprints, we got them so they're rendering stuff properly, and collision is turned on and off based on if we're setting things. So we can now actually start putting together the effects themselves. What happened if you made this spooky? I don't know. Probably Adam would get really upset, because it's not a horror game. I don't think we have any blood in the game either. That's something I should ask Adam about. Oh yeah, we probably do. Like Bitey, when he hits stuff real hard when he's running, he's probably gonna get all bloody, messed up. It was really funny in the prototype, like the old Flash Dashkin game. Bitey would just slam into rocks, and just his face kind of in the bottom right would get all bloodied and screwed up. The longer you play it, the spookier it gets. Well, in some ways, I think that's kind of how it's going to happen. We got some evil enemies that will be corrupting the world, or whatever it is that the UU do. If you're not familiar with Brackenwood at all, it's This is all inside of the world of Brackenwood. You may remember Brackenwood back from Newgrounds and all that. Adam Phillips is the guy. Like things start screwing up in the game itself. Well, that'll just naturally happen as we code things out here. We'll naturally add horrible bugs and things. It'll be non-intentional. Alright, so we need to... So we need to actually get the effect data. And I think we're gonna need like a boolean for like... Do we need a collision channel in here? Like enable collision maybe should be something that we have. And then we should actually have an object type in here for this thing. So if we go to our entity thing, then we can actually go to f-Dashkin entity data. Everything's super basic. Yeah. Well, who knows? So we need, I think it's the entity type? Is that what it is, or is it the entity group? It's going to be entity group. Let's see. Default group. I don't think we're going to have an effect type, just an effect name. I don't think there's any real need for much else. Certainly breaks. Pre-designed level breaks. Yeah, kind of like oh, what's that YouTube video? Yeah, the Kaizo trap. Like that video has like the world slowly destroying itself after it gets through. That's a really cool video. I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go on break here for a little bit. I've been streaming for about, let's see, yeah, like 2.5 hours. I'll probably need to take a couple minutes, grab something very quick to eat, and kind of reset. Let's see, we got the effect data and enable collision, default group. I wish I could edit this right inside of here. I mean, I can have a few things as well if I need it. I guess that's another thing, is the effect actor or the effect data going to be the thing that actually makes these. The effect actor is the thing that we can actually blueprint off of, not the effect data. Can I actually? Yeah, no, it needs to be off of the actor or a component. That's another question, is should we actually be making effect components as opposed to effect actors? We can have child actors, so that's not an issue. So maybe we don't need effect data? Well, I think we definitely want to be creating effects based on these blueprinted things, though. Maybe we just don't need effect data at all. And this stuff should be just on it as an actual object. Maybe that's something I should do. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. So if instead of having effect data be just like a pointer to a thing, maybe I should change it to the effect actor having maybe just actual effect data on it. Because I'm kind of trying to make this effect system, and I'm also learning a lot of stuff about Unreal, so kind of like, well, if we're gonna be basically making blueprints for all these things, it's not a pointer type though. I mean, it's just a U object. I should be able to slap it on there and have it do what it should. Why is it thinking it's a pointer type? Good morning, Karakan, or in your case, probably evening. We're working on some of those effect systems, and I'm trying to come up with the right way to kind of put them together. And I'm thinking we really don't even need... I mean, I need to be able to reference the blueprints, though. Maybe the effects should reference the blueprint actor? Maybe that's what I need to do? So, like, maybe I should do it the exact opposite of what I'm doing, where the data asset should actually reference the blueprints. Let me think about that. So, what we would do would look more like this. So we'd have this actor, this subclass of actor, and we would call that the effect. Maybe this will work. This would be interesting if it does. Just got back yourself? Yeah, I'm doing well. Just a couple hours in, trying to put together this system. Dashkin effect actor is missing a prefix. Yeah, it should be a Dashkin effect actor. I was putting together kind of a basic design for the effect system, which is effect is anything that's going to be rendered but isn't going to be like an entity in the game that needs to be like, it shouldn't be super complex. And it's probably going to have like a flipbook or a particle system as a child, and it needs to have like an effect component which has update ticks on it, and we need to be able to blueprint all of it and like enable and disable an effect. And effects are things like a fire in a fireplace, or like an after image effect, or maybe an explosion. And we need easy to make things like an effect that plays an animation once or lasts for a certain amount of time, and we need to be able to easily make it. So I'm trying to figure out the... Yeah, Kaiser Trap is pretty awesome video. And your description of a level that comes apart reminded me very much of the ending of it. So let's take a look at what this actually looks like now. So I can actually reference the effect from in here. So I think that's pretty much what I want to do, is we'll make an effect and then we'll reference a blueprint. And we should be able to reference these assets and what we need, maybe? I don't know. But so when we make our effect, we can like enable collision, default group would be like certain things. And then if I compile and like drag this in here, I've got this test effect, I should be able to like save it, and yeah, so we should be able to revert this to defaults or whatever in the editor itself. And the question now is, how do we actually spawn an effect into the world? So we're gonna figure that out, but I'm gonna need to take a quick break here. You seem to be full of ideas, Talon. Stay that way. I will be back after I get a little bit of food and stretch out a little. Maybe like 10 minutes, something like that. So thanks for sticking around, and then we'll get back to figuring out how to create these effects at runtime. See, I just threw some food and got it out of the microwave, so I gotta let that cool down. So let's see. So Talon was asking, do you want to collab later on when I'm not busy? Well, I'm judging by your username there. You're about 15 years old, I'm guessing. So I mean, I'm all for talking shop and you know, swapping what we're working on, but collaborate. We're pretty busy on this game. I don't really have a bunch of time to like work on anything else. But if you wanted any, if you wanted to ask questions or, if you had anything you wanted to talk about, go ahead and shoot. I'm totally open to talking about stuff. I know a lot of people have been asking questions about, where'd you go to college, or how'd you get into game development? What programming language do you like? And what do you think about Unity? What do you think about Unreal? What do you think about, CryEngine or whatever? Totally open to talking about all that sort of stuff. But collaboration, pretty much super busy, so like that. We're not like working on any game jam games or anything else like that. At the moment, we're super focused on this game. Me and Adam, so yeah. Well, there's only one solution to that, Karakin. You must buy a dedicated machine that only streams me and Adam. And it must go to a pair of wireless speakers implanted in your brain. That's the only solution. But seriously, I can't wait for microchips and crap like that. That would be amazing. Be like, hold on, I'm checking the weather. Because that'd be fun to program for. Because you'd be sitting there like at your desk, like programming parts of your brain. You're like, I need to be smarter. Let's fix that. You know, like as an engineer, as soon as like we have like super awesome cyborg crap going on, I'll be able to just like, you know, you can make things faster for yourself. You know, you wouldn't have to rely on buying some app or something to look up stuff on Wikipedia automatically for you, you know, or whatever. You could just write it yourself. You're sleeping. We're in your dreams. You can't escape us. We're everywhere. I'll turn it into nightmares. Alright, so what the hell did I say I was going to be working on here? Tooltip? What the fuck? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Like, that's not correct. Elon's gonna make it happen. We'll see. So I think basically we don't need a reference to an effect on our effect object. Basically our effect is going to be our effect. We need to figure out how to spawn effects is what needs to happen. Alright, so let's figure out how we create things. Well, how are we doing it right now? We've got a template actor. We don't have anything that's like create object by name. Like we don't have like create fat sack and quote or anything like that, which we kind of do want. So I'm wondering how we actually spawn one of these objects based on. So I'm gonna just do that. It's just like create effect, and we want like a const f string address. We want like a name. So I'm not exactly sure how to do this. In Unity, you just couldn't. basically in Unity you can't just create an object by name or something. You have to create things based on having a pointer to something. So the question is, how exactly are we going to get this done? Category equals entity or effect. Blueprint callable. So let's see. Create object from blueprint by name at runtime Unreal. So the node takes an actor class. So spawn actor needs a class at least for an actor. That's kind of what I'm looking at is we have spawn actor from class, so we have a class, so we have and all that sort of stuff. And they've got all these blueprints and all that sort of stuff in here. So obviously you can fetch, blueprints have actual C++ classes then that maybe we can reference. So let's see. They've got get blueprint class by string. I have multiple blueprint classes in different folders. I wish to make a reference to the blueprint class dynamically from a string in C++. Let's see, there's a find class. You can do find object and do all that sort of crap. Well, let me see. Let me take a look at some of these things. Because I did some of this for like playing sounds, didn't I? Because I've got play a sound by name. We have the actual sound. So how do we get sound for name? So we're preloading the sounds. Alright, so we did this with our audio manager. Basically, our audio manager is something that we made months and months ago, back earlier on the project. So that's why I'm kind of like, didn't I already do this somewhere? And how we're doing it is, at the beginning of the whole project, it preloads all the sounds by basically loading all the things and looking for all the sound cues and sound waves and all that stuff. And we pre-cache all the sounds and keep an asset name and all this stuff set up. So we probably want to do the same thing with our effects and other things, kind of our game object. So we can say like create game object, and we just pass in the string fatsack, and it can just go grab that. Take a look. I think we got the test component. This testing stuff is super old. This audio test was just play SFX parrot. I think we got the parrot somewhere in here. Let's just search for parrot. There he is. It's a parrot. But yeah, so it's source file and it's just called parrot, so we're able to grab that. So I think we definitely want to be able to do that. We definitely want to be able to create assets by name. So this code looks like it's pretty much what I want to do. So I'm probably going to need to make like an asset registry, which is going to be by type and all this sort of stuff. And I'm going to need to know, I'm going to have to cache a whole bunch of stuff, won't I? So how's the audio manager doing? Like we need to actually make a new manager, which is an asset manager database thing, and we need to reference that. It needs to be loaded whenever we start up like game mode or something like that. Let me just see when preload sounds is even called. It's called at the beginning of the thing. Is it called when we start the level? Yeah, it's called inside of Dashkin Game Manager. Inside of Dashkin Game Mode. Preload sounds. Yeah, it's been a very long time since I looked at this code. But it does work real well. Which I can kind of show you real quick actually. If we go to gameplay.